CBS Young and the Restless Spoilers. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is a crazy day today, and we are running on pure caffeine and soap opera drama right now. We have to talk about the absolute chaos happening in Genoa City because there is a lot to unpack and zero time to waste. So Diane Jenkins is missing, just completely gone. Poof. And honestly, I am still trying to wrap my head around how this whole mess escalated so quickly. But let's start with Kyle, because Kyle Abbott is the one who actually noticed she was gone first. You guys know how Kyle is with his mom. He is fiercely protective of her, especially after all those years he spent thinking she was dead. So when Kyle realizes that his mother has been completely off the grid, he starts to panic. And I mean full-blown panic. He goes to her room and sees that her bed hasn't even been slept in. It is perfectly made. Nobody has been there. And then he finds out she hasn't shown up at Jabot for 2 whole days. 2 days! For a woman like Diane Jenkins, who is absolutely obsessed with her image and her corporate standing and following the rules she set for herself, that is a massive red flag. She doesn't just skip work. She doesn't just leave her bed unslept in without telling anyone. It just doesn't make any sense. And Kyle knows this. Kyle is smart enough to know that his mother wouldn't just vanish into thin air unless something was terribly wrong. So what does he do? He goes straight to his dad. He takes all of this fear and anxiety and dumps it right on Jack Abbott's lap with a very blunt warning that something is very, very wrong. But let's talk about Jack for a second. Jack is already drowning in his own guilt. He knows he messed up his marriage. He knows he pushed Diane to the brink. So when Kyle tells him Diane is missing, Jack's brain immediately goes to the darkest, worst possible conclusion he can think of. Because of course it does. Jack doesn't stop to think logically. He doesn't stop to retrace her steps. He just immediately assumes that she was taken. And who does he blame? Patty Williams. Honestly, I can't even blame Jack for jumping to this conclusion because let's be real, Patty Williams is a walking nightmare for the Abbott family. Jack's mind goes straight to Patty because she is the one who literally blew up his marriage in the first place. A few episodes ago, we saw that whole insane situation on the yacht. Patty actually drugged Jack. She drugged him and climbed into his bed on the boat, and that sick, twisted betrayal was the exact thing that made Diane pack her bags and flee to the Genoa City Athletic Club. Diane was so disgusted and heartbroken that she just couldn't look at him. So in Jack's mind, Patty is the root of all evil right now. If Diane is missing, it has to be Patty's fault. And maybe I'm being too harsh on Jack for assuming the worst. I mean, look at Patty's history. This is the woman who shot Jack 3 times back in the 1980s. 3 times. She married him, and then her life completely unraveled. She has spent this entire current return to Genoa City proving that she is willing to destroy absolutely anyone who gets in her way. So, yeah, nobody can really blame Jack for being terrified that Patty has done something unthinkable to his wife. But here's the thing. Here is the massive, frustrating twist that has everyone on social media screaming at their screens. What if Diane wasn't kidnapped at all? What if she is just hiding? This is where the story gets so incredibly tragic and frustrating. We know that Diane left Jack a voicemail. A deeply emotional, raw, vulnerable voicemail where she basically poured her heart out. She talked about her pain and how much she was hurting, but she also said she hoped they could find a way back to each other. She practically begged for a sign that their marriage could be saved. And Jack never heard it. He never listened to the message. You guys, this is the classic soap opera miscommunication trope, and it is driving me crazy. Jack is running around town like a madman looking for a kidnapper, and meanwhile, Diane is probably sitting somewhere thinking her husband completely ignored her. Think about it from Diane's perspective. She leaves this tearful, desperate message for the man she loves. She puts her pride on the line. And then nothing. Crickets. Absolute silence. If you read between the lines, a hurt and paranoid Diane Jenkins would absolutely believe that Jack listened to her weakest, most vulnerable confession and just chose to ice her out. She would think he is giving her the cold shoulder. And if she believes that Jack doesn't care anymore, it makes perfect sense that she would go into hiding. She would retreat to some quiet place, maybe a motel out of town or a secluded cabin, just to lick her wounds and cry. It fits her personality perfectly. She runs when she is hurt. So the grim irony here is just almost too much to handle. Jack is ready to tear Genoa City apart to find a villain who didn't even do anything this time, while his wife is just ghosting him voluntarily because she thinks he gave up on her. It is so sad. It is just so sad and frustrating. But what happens next? This is where I am getting really worried. Because Jack is on the warpath, he is convinced Patty took Diane. So he is going to go after Patty. He is going to confront her. And we all know Patty is not exactly stable on a good day. Right now, Patty is already involved in this massive, dangerous extortion plot with Victor Newman over Matt Clark. Her nerves are already fried. She is already acting reckless. If Jack corners her and starts screaming accusations at her about kidnapping Diane, it might actually push Patty over the edge. What if Jack's baseless accusations actually trigger Patty to do something genuinely dangerous? She might lash out just to prove a point. Or she might try to frame someone else. Or she might just completely snap and attack Jack again. It has all the makings of a classic Genoa City showdown that is going to end in absolute disaster. Who actually believes this is going to end well? Nobody. That's who, and we can't forget about Phyllis Summers. Because, of course, Phyllis has to get involved. Phyllis is apparently gearing up for her own personal confrontation with Patty Williams. Because Phyllis never forgets anything. Ever. She is ready to teach her old enemy a bitter lesson and bring up all the old memories. And by old memories, I mean the fact that Patty poisoned Summer Newman years ago. Phyllis has been holding on to that rage for years. So now you have Jack hunting Patty down for a kidnapping she probably didn't commit, and you have Phyllis hunting Patty down for revenge over Summer. Patty is being backed into a corner by multiple people at once. It is a powder keg. It is a literal powder keg waiting to explode. I just keep thinking about what is going to happen when Diane finally comes back. Because she will come back. She always does. Eventually, she is going to turn her phone back on or walk into the Abbott mansion, and she is going to see the absolute wreckage left behind. She is going to realize that Jack didn't ignore her voicemail. He just never heard it. And Jack is going to realize that he nearly got himself or someone else killed hunting down Patty for no reason. Honestly, the gap between what Diane needed and the silence she received is going to be the ultimate test for this marriage. Can they survive this? Can Jack forgive himself for jumping to conclusions? Can Diane forgive him for not checking his damn phone? It is so clunky and messy, but I am so invested in it. The writers are really putting Jack and Diane through the ringer this time. It feels a little different than their usual fights because the stakes are so much higher with Patty involved. Patty is a wild card. She is unpredictable. And Jack is acting purely on emotion and guilt. When you mix Jack's guilt with Patty's instability and Diane's paranoia, you get a recipe for absolute destruction. I don't know, guys. Maybe I am reading too much into the voicemail thing, but I really think that is the key to this whole storyline. It is all about miscommunication. It is all about two people who love each other but are completely incapable of just sitting down and talking. Instead, we get kidnapping theories and revenge plots, and Phyllis Summers inserting herself into the drama because she can't help it. Okay, that sounded dramatic, but you get what I mean. The fallout from this is going to scorch everybody left standing. When Diane Jenkins finally reappears, the consequences are going to burn down whatever's left of the Abbott family piece. I just hope Jack finds her before he does something he can never take back. We will just have to wait and see, but I have a feeling next week is going to be an absolute roller coaster. Let me know what you guys think, because my brain is officially fried from trying to connect all these dots.